Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
2 people are hurt after a house fire in Durham overnight. Coming up, what we know about this investigation.
And the heat index will be soaring today, up to 102 or 103 in the Triangle area. I'll show you when a front comes through to drop that a little bit.
And some scary moments for a driver on I-40 when a crowbar flew into her windshield. The driver recalls what was going through her mind when the debris came flying at her. I can only imagine some choice words going through her mind when something like that happens. But, you know, I'm not going to say that because we're going to keep our jobs here. Good morning, everyone. It's 4:30. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Ogie. Good to be along with you. I almost hit a cat yesterday morning. I screamed out loud, on the way in, middle of the night,
Or deer or whatever. Maybe in the road.
Yeah, it's all happened. We have Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Maybe it's just hot and things are getting under our skin.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that does, in fact, happen. We take a live look at Franklinton this morning, and it's all quiet. Skies are clear, but it has a completely different feel this morning than it did yesterday. Yesterday, our dew points had dropped down into the 60s, and it felt just a little bit nicer. This morning, dew points way up at 72, so it's extremely muggy out there for us this morning. It's 78 degrees already, and we are in for most likely the hottest day of the week, or at least tied for the hottest day of the week. Sunday, we hit 100, probably hit 100 today in the Triangle, where it is 78 in Durham, 75 in Fayetteville, 74 in South Hill. So it's a warm, sticky start for us this morning. That heat index likely to climb up to 100 before lunchtime, so keep that in mind. 103, 102 is where it will top out. Not quite heat advisory criteria. That would be 104 to 105. It looks like we won't quite get there, but still, it's one of those days you need to be extra careful. We are looking at triple digits during the afternoon. Next, we change into a wetter pattern with a better chance for storms. That starts tomorrow. We'll take a look coming up.
Breaking news this morning. 2 people are hurt after a house fire in Durham. It happened around 1 o'clock this morning on Hickory Glen Lane. That's off Holloway Street. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey in that fire. The fire crews say people that were inside when that fire started. Kelsey, pretty scary.
Jeff, it really is scary. Now, most of that damage is inside of the home, but you may be able to see that there's a cracked window right here beside the front door. Now, 3 people were inside of the home when the fire started. 2 of them were sent to the hospital, 1 of them with severe burns. But check out this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker of firefighters on scene. Flames broke out around 1 o'clock this morning. There's damage in the kitchen and throughout the rest of the home, but crews were able to control this fire within 7 minutes. Now, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on what comes out of this. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center with a breaking update. This is happening in Johnston County. There is a dump truck that crashed into some telephone wires, and this is on, it looks like, NC42 again in Johnston County. I want to show you this video here so you can see a little bit better. But essentially, the truck was traveling on Cleveland Road, and then it snagged a few of the AT&T lines that were there, and it ripped the poles down as well as these wires and left the dump truck and a pickup trapped in all of this. It's unclear how long it's going to take to get the road open. No repair crews have been on scene, at least our last check at 4:15. Being told this is a major intersection during rush hours, but there is a detour down Technology Drive that is in place. So here's what we're doing at WRAL. We have the breaking news tracker on scene because we want to know exactly when all of this is going to be cleared up. Stay with WRAL as we continue to give you developing updates in this story.
Chris, thanks. Today, our high temperature could hit the century mark. Not only do our bodies suffer from being out in the heat, but so do our cars. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Mission Valley 66 this morning. And Laura, mechanics there say they are expecting an increase in calls as it heats up outside.
Yeah, Renee, we're here at Mission Valley where mechanics tell us they stay busy all year round. But as the temperatures rise, well, so does the number of their customers. If we take a look at how hot our car is right now this morning, we're at 80 degrees at only 4:30 this morning. So you can see and know that as the day progresses, when we hit that triple digit mark, parts like your car batteries could also take a hit, being drained by the heat. So mechanics tell us extreme heat makes every part of your car work harder. We caught up with one here yesterday who was already working on some dead batteries. Now, the heat can affect the chemical process inside the battery, making it difficult for it to hold a charge and produce power. A week dead battery could leave you stranded on a hot day. With holiday travel coming up, it's important to get your vehicles inspected. AAA says it expects to rescue nearly 800,000 stranded motorists during the 9-day holiday period from Saturday to Sunday, July 7th.
You know, just go to wherever you get your car serviced and tell them you want a trip check. You know, check all your fluids, check your coolant, oil, check your tires, tire pressure, and then you can do a battery test to see if it's failing or not.
And AAA says the most common issues that they expect to respond to this summer, again, dead batteries, flat tires, and lockouts. We'll hear more from AAA coming up in our next half hour on some of the things that you can do right here in your driveway. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Well, a terrifying moment on I-40. A crowbar flew through the windshield of a moving car. This happened to a WRAL employee as she was driving on I-40 east toward Clayton. A close-up look shows the damage there. The crowbar hit the driver's side right where Diane Hyla was sitting.
I was passing 306. I typically get off at 309 and just cruising along, and all of a sudden I saw this projectile thing coming at me, and I covered my face and said a prayer.
Well, I guess so. She was understandably shaken by this. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt. It appears another vehicle on the highway hit that crowbar and sent it up, flying into the air and into Hyla's windshield. She says she'll be responsible for paying for the damages, though.
How scary. Child care providers and parents plan to rally today outside the General Assembly as time is running out for funding. They will hold a rally at 11 this morning outside the Legislative Building. COVID-era federal funding runs out at the end of the month. A survey says nearly 1 in 3 providers may close without this funding. Providers say lawmakers need to address this as they're making budget adjustments.
The family of a 27-year-old mother of 3 is in mourning after she died in a crash in Franklin County. State Highway Patrol says Ashley Carpenter was a passenger in a car that crashed Saturday afternoon. Troopers say that crash happened on Gooch Road in Franklin County near the Vance County line. They don't believe alcohol or speed were factors in the crash. Carpenter's family has started a GoFundMe account to help pay for her funeral and support her children.
She was the best daughter that God could have given us, the best mother our children could have asked for, and one of the best friends with the best givenest hearts in the world.
People who live near the scene of the crash say there's a curve in that road that's dangerous. There have been many crashes there over the years.
Today, state election officials will decide if there will be more names other than Joe Biden and Donald Trump on your presidential ballot. The presidential campaigns for third-party candidates Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Cornel West have petitioned to get on the ballot here in North Carolina. State officials need to verify they have enough signatures from voters around the state showing their support. The State Board of Elections meets at 4 this afternoon.
President Biden and former President Donald Trump will square off in the first presidential debate of this election cycle, hosted by CNN. It's happening tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and you can watch it on WRAL.
A new push from the Wake County school system to donate meals to students in the district. It's called an Angel Fund. It would cover a meal for a child who doesn't have enough money to buy one. Individual schools have these programs, but a quarter of them don't have the money to support it. Right now, if a child doesn't have enough money to pay for lunch, they can only get fresh fruits and vegetables. Board members want children to be able to get a full meal, especially some protein.
And your child's ride to school could look a bit different. Wake County students would need to scan an ID to ride the school bus next year under a new proposal. The ID would have a barcode rather than a name or photo. The student would scan the card when they get on and off the bus. School officials want to eventually make this part of the Here Comes the Bus app.
This morning, I-40 at Wade Avenue is open. 4 vehicles crashed during rush hour yesterday, backing up traffic for hours and miles. Look at that. This is the view from Sky 5. One person was taken to the hospital and was in serious condition. Investigators have not said what led to the crash or whether anyone will be charged.
Devastation left behind and communities underwater after severe flooding in the Midwest. From South Dakota to Minnesota and Iowa, a look at the devastation as some prepare for more rain.
And a search for dozens of migrants with possible ties to ISIS. What immigration agents say about the group and how Border Patrol let them into the U.S.
We'll give you this live look at Chapel Hill this morning. Hottest day of the week is on us. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner joins us with the days that we could see storms later this week.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43, and it's a very warm start out there this morning. 78 in Durham and Raleigh, 75 in Fayetteville. Our dew point is higher today than it was this time yesterday. That just makes it feel really sticky. So it's a pretty rough feeling morning out there. Our skies are mostly clear, but of course that means our temperatures are going to warm up pretty quickly today. 73 Lewisburg, 75 Fayetteville, 74 in Irwin, 76 in Rocky Mount right now as you're headed out the door. So walking the dog this morning is going to feel as comfortable as it's going to feel all day today, but still it's warm. It's a warm, sticky start out there this morning. By lunchtime, 94, we climbed to 100 for it today, and the heat index will feel like around 102 to 103. Tomorrow, a cold front comes through, and that may bring us a small bit of relief. I'll show you coming up. Elizabeth, thanks. Catastrophic flooding is leaving devastation across the Midwest and Great Plains. In South Dakota, neighborhoods along the Big Sioux River are unrecognizable. Streets completely caved in and people unable to get into their homes. In Minnesota, entire communities are underwater. People who live in Mankato are bracing for the possible failure of a dam on the Blue Earth River. In Iowa, water levels are starting to go down. But there is still danger in the forecast. More rain is set to fall on the area later this week.
Search is on for dozens of migrants with possible links to an ISIS-affiliated smuggling network. They are now in the U.S. NBC News has learned more than 50 migrants with possible ISIS ties were released into the U.S. by Border Patrol. That's because border agents had no information suggesting the possible terror ties. Immigration agents say they were in a group of more than 400 migrants labeled as subjects of concern. Authorities say their ties to ISIS are not certain, but their arrests are being prioritized out of an abundance of caution.
A suspect in a Las Vegas shooting died by suicide after police told him to drop his weapon. That's according to North Las Vegas police. 5 people were killed and a teenage girl left in critical condition after the shooting. Police say it happened just after 10 Monday night at an apartment complex. When they got there, police found the 6 people, 3 of them already died from their wounds. Possible motive is unknown right now.
Millions of Americans may not be getting student loan debt relief promised by President Biden. 2 federal judges temporarily blocked parts of the president's new student loan repayment plan. One judge in Missouri said the program would likely harm the state because it would cut fees the Department of Education pays to a Missouri state agency. A judge in Kansas halted the part of the program that would cut the monthly payments of some borrowers. Until the cases are decided, the Biden administration can't forgive additional student debt under the plan.
Protests over a proposed tax law in Kenya are turning violent. Police shot at thousands of protesters who stormed the country's parliament and set fire to another government building. At least 5 people died. Dozens more were hurt. Former President Barack Obama's half-sister was among the protesters. She says she was tear-gassed. The uprising is over a $2.7 billion tax bill, and protesters say they are furious with the country's president, who was elected on a promise to help the poor.
A local mother is concerned after getting a call from Holly Hill Children's Hospital saying her daughter escaped Monday. Since 2021, at least 7 children have escaped from Holly Hill, where they were receiving mental health care. Sarah Jones says she was told her daughter was found within 30 minutes, but she wasn't notified until 6 hours later. Jones is one of many parents who tell us they want accountability from Holly Hill.
I was going on about my day yesterday, assuming that my child was safe and sound and that I didn't have anything to worry about. And all this was going on behind my back.
Holly Hill sent us a response denying that incident. Raleigh police say they got a call from the hospital about a missing person, but it was canceled before officers arrived.
A woman is sharing her story of survival after she was attacked by a shark in the Gulf of Mexico. A bull shark attacked 19-year-old Damiana Humphrey while she was in the water near Galveston, Texas. She said she started punching the shark as it tried to grab her in its jaws. The shark then swam around her and made its mark.
It came after me again, and that's when we believe it actually like clamped onto the top of my hand, and that's when I started punching it again, and then it swam away for good. I didn't even feel pain. I just looked down and there was a shark on my hand.
Humphrey says the shark swam away after biting her. She's undergone surgery to repair 4 severed tendons. She says she still can't feel or move her left wrist or hand. My goodness, 4:48, and we're starting to hear about a lot of these shark encounters, even one just at North Topsail Beach with a 14-year-old. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. I know people are just going to the beaches trying to get some relief from the heat. Yeah, it's so hot. It's going to be a day, if you're going to be outside at all, to head to the pool. But even in the middle of the afternoon at the pool may not be such a great place to be because it's going to be so hot out there this afternoon. We take a look at Franklinton, and all is quiet. Our skies are clear. We should have a pretty sunrise. 78 is the temperature in the Triangle. We now have a southwest wind. Yesterday we had a north and then a northeast wind, and that helped to drop our dew points a little bit, so it felt slightly more comfortable yesterday. Now you may say, wait a minute, what? But our dew point did drop into the 50s yesterday for a little while. We'll climb to 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. We do have clear skies. We have the top of the tower lit in blue this morning, and wanted to share our weather watcher with you. Candace Blake from Durham set this beautiful hydrangea in her backyard. Love that one. We'd love to see your photos too. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and upload some photos for us. A very hot day for today. We hit 100 on Sunday in the Triangle. That's where we're headed again this afternoon. 101 in Southern Pines and in Fayetteville, 99 in Clinton, Goldsboro, Rocky Mount, South Hill, and Roxborough. So no matter where you are, you're going to be dealing with extreme heat, and the dew point's way up at tropical too, so that just makes it feel even hotter. It's likely to feel like 102, 103, 104 potentially this afternoon, and tropical continues Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this more muggy air mass is going to be with us all the way through the weekend. So we really just don't see a whole lot of change. For tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures in the upper 80s to mid 90s, maybe as high as 97 in Fayetteville. So a little bit cooler. And that's because we're going to see a front coming through to help to bring us a better chance for showers and thunderstorms. But again, looking at those triple digits potentially for today, the average first 100-degree day happens on July 13th. The earliest is June 7th. So it's not something that we see very often. Of course, just one per year. And we've seen 2 this week. It's going to feel like 105 again for tomorrow, 103 on Friday, and triple-digit heat indices all the way really into the weekend. So we don't see any big change in this anytime soon. Now, we will see that front come through for tomorrow, brings us about a 50% chance of showers and storms, and then we'll have a 20 to 30% chance all the way through the weekend. So hopefully a few of you will see some rain, but none of it's likely to add up much in the rain gauges. Elizabeth, thanks. A brand new weather satellite is now in space. A look at the launch and what the satellite will study while up there.
And a unique goal for after retirement, how one couple is spending their free time on a journey for steak. Some popular baby wipes may pose a risk to your baby, and 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains all the things you need to be on the lookout for.
If you have young kids, you probably have baby wipe packs stashed all over the place.
My diaper bag, my kitchen, in both kids' rooms, by the change stations, and in the car.
But what's in those wipes that so many parents use for diaper changes and cleaning hands and faces? Consumer Reports investigation found that out of 15 brands of baby wipes, 7 had concerning or unclear ingredients.
These wipes contain potentially harmful chemicals, including some that may be linked to cancer risks. Many are made from plastics that don't break down in the environment.
Some brands also have a low pH balance, which may irritate skin. CR reached out to the companies. Coterie and Costco said they use very small amounts of certain chemicals in their wipes as preservatives or skin conditioning agents. Pampers said their ingredients and products undergo rigorous safety testing. Consumer Reports says some better biodegradable choices that aren't too expensive include wipes from Healthy Baby, The Honest Company, Kaboo, and Water Wipes. And some tips for you when you're shopping. Avoid potentially harmful chemicals, opt for plant-based biodegradable wipes, and go fragrance-free. When storing wipes,
heating them in a wipe warmer may seem like a good idea, but it can be a breeding ground for bacteria.
And make sure to keep the wipes out of hot cars. The FDA says it can actually change the ingredients and make them more vulnerable to bacteria and mold. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
And even if it's labeled flushable, Consumer Reports advises against flushing them down the toilet. That's the safest way to prevent clogs.
A powerful new weather satellite is now in space.
3, 2, 1.
The SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket took the GOES-U satellite into space yesterday. It's the 4th and final piece of NOAA's series of geostationary operational environmental satellites. This new satellite will watch over a large portion of the Western Hemisphere and study space weather. That includes keeping a closer eye on solar storms unleashed by the sun toward Earth. Many people have big plans for after retirement, but what about a grand steak journey? A Virginia couple is traveling across the country in an attempt to stop at every Texas Roadhouse restaurant. Judy and Mike McNamara have been retired since 2017. They have visited 228 Texas Roadhouses, and they plan to visit 500 by the end of next year. Mike spends hours planning their vacations, ensuring that there is always a Texas Roadhouse on the way. It's the rolls. We know this dangerous heat can be harmful for our bodies, but it can be bad for our cars as well. What you need to know before your 4th of July road trip and how local mechanics are preparing.
Also, we're following breaking news. 2 people are hurt, one with severe burns after a house fire in Durham. What we have learned from that scene.
Plus, we're officially 1 month out from the Summer Olympics, the last-minute preparations Paris is making ahead of the Games.